Alright. Hopefully everything is functioning. Nothing is broken. We can only hope. We can only hope. Cool. I can see myself. We take those. Okay, let's make sure everything is ticking the way it should be. Cool. I can see myself. Hopefully, looks like we're good. Might pull my microphone in a bit, as I am a little teeny bit quiet. I did a different crop on the camera recently, so my settings are a little all over the place, but that's fine. These things take time to fix and refigure out and change after you've been away for a hot second. Alright. Looking like we're good. Alright, okay. This is good. We can get rid of this. As I say, bear with us, folks. Just want to make sure everything is running the way it should be before I settle in and actually start playing games. We're playing a control deck today, so I don't want to be trying to actually play games while dealing with technological problems, because that's going to be a headache if we have to do that. But I think we're good. I think we're good. Alright. Settle up Buttercup. Let's get some Ruby Amethyst games in. Just going to keep half an eye on real quick whether or not I'm getting any game audio from Pixelborn. I am, cool. I might nuke that down just a teensy bit in terms of volume. Don't want it to be too loud. Cool. So, let's do this thing. Okay. This hand is pretty medium. If I knew what I was against, I'd be more inclined to keep the mirror over the cauldron. I might anyway. Yeah, I'm going to keep a mirror and a Maleficent and throw everything else looking for more anti-aggro tools. For the most part, I think, from what I understand of this deck so far, prioritizing the anti-aggro tools is normally just the way to go. But I like keeping access to a card advantage effect if you can, just because if you're in the mirror match or whatever, you're going to wish you had one. Inking Friends here is going to be a little sad if we're in a world where our opponent is not particularly aggressive. If it's like a mirror match or whatever, like losing our friends to the Inkwell is going to be, I'm going to say a little worse than mildly unfortunate, because we would really rather have them. But give the music a tinker here. Hopefully get it to a reasonable level that doesn't conflict with my voice too much. It's a fine balancing act. Let's do like that for now. Hopefully that's fine. Okay. I'm about to be a sad Scot, aren't I? Triple Rafiki, not exactly what we're looking for in a spot like this. I'm going to choose to keep the Friends over the Maleficent if I'm given the option, because I have so many threes that can sing it so well. But inking 2 card advantage effects against an Amethyst mirror match is not really my idea of a perfect start. Okay, Emerald Amethyst might be a slightly different story. At least the Rafikis aren't completely blank. Okay, same story here. Would rather ink the Maleficent than the Friends on the other side in this spot, and we'll just send the Rafiki to claim Olaf's scalp. That seems okay with me. Cool. Opponent will take the trade back. Deal. I'll take my 2 for 1. Into a Cheshire Cat, sure. Okay. So this is a little bit greedy, but I think we're supposed to draw 2 and draw some ink here. That certainly counts. If the opponent wants to let me just trade 1-for-1 with this Cheshire Cat, I'll probably do so with a Rafiki. We've got one more turn until we're expecting a Cusco. The hands is a little bit annoying. Okay. Again, pretty happy to just keep spinning our wheels here. The Dragonfires are a little bit more efficient in a spot like this. Yeah, I think that leads me to wanting to Dragonfire this hands this turn more than Rafiki. If I draw another inkable card, I might be able to like double Rafiki next turn. You draw like another Ursula's Cauldron or something like that, you're going to wish that you Dragonfired the turn before. Opponent will grind some cards too, sure. Oh, neck like a cement mixer. There is the Cusco, okay. The Cusco is definitely a little problematic for this current hand. We are going to be inking this Pongo. I might Dragonfire this Cheshire Cat so I can double Rafiki the Cusco. I think I probably am. So not super efficient use of our resources, but I think it is for the best. Gotta keep our opponent in check here for as long as we can, so we have the ability to start grinding cards with this Magic Mirror. Unfortunately, they're doing a very good job of finding more card advantage than us, which is slightly problematic. But I will not argue from continuing to draw ink. So send a Rafiki number 1, Rafiki number 2. This one trades for the Cusco. Definitely not an ideal start for us here, but we are starting to stabilize, which is good. I will accept. We are behind like 4 cards, which is pretty bad. Pretty bad. Tink is a little annoying, but we can handle a Tink. I'll take the Rafiki trade, that's fine. Okay, that's probably just worth playing out. Tempting to ink this, but I think for the most part just running out the Aladdin here is probably the way to go. Mother Knows Best is a bit of a punish. Into a Hatter as well. Okay, this is going to be a little bit rough. I still think establishing this Aladdin is the way to go. Opponent is running low on cards here, finally, but we are going to have to play catch up here. $15 lore is a lot. This is going to be a hard one to swing back. Another Mother's Knows Best here would be kind of backbreaking. Finding another ink here is pretty great. Pretty happy to ink the Mickey in this spot. And I think we are just going to punch this Maleficent, pull some lore back, and then freeze the other 2. Don't call it a comeback. This is definitely the kind of game where we were punished for keeping the mirror over the Cauldron early. But with another Rafiki is kind of unfortunate, but sure. We also drew like 7,000 Rafikis. Hopefully this mirror will start paying dividends now. We'll have some ink left over. Maleficent's a good one. So this is a little cheeky to try and draw an inkable, but I think it's worth it. We do miss, so we're going to ink the Maleficent instead. A little unfortunate there, but probably just correct. So we can stop our opponent drawing a card if we want to, but I would rather deal with the Tink, given I've had to give up the Maleficent and give them the card. It's a little unfortunate, but probably just worthwhile. If we'd managed to keep the Mali there, I think we're pretty happy to kill the Hatter, stop them drawing a card, and Maleficent the Tink away the following turn. Befuddling our mirror. It's a little annoying. Okay, we don't much care for Gaston at this point, I don't think. Pocket Watch. It's probably worth playing out here, yeah. How many Rafikis are we through? 1, 2, 2? 2 Rafikis. Do we play around another one? Probably not. I think at this point we have to start taking a few risks to actually be able to win this game. So we need to find an answer to this Cusco anyway, truth be told. Haven't found a Be Prepared in our top, so we are 65 cards, so 22, which is a little unfortunate. There is an Aladdin, that's not good enough at the moment. It is kind of, so the mirror activation is free here first of all. Okay, the Archimedes is just going to be ink. So we're giving up the Elsa here, I think. Aladdin steals a Lore, Pocket Watch, the Aladdin. This only quests for 1, right? Yeah, so we're going to have to go trade into the Archimedes, trade into the Cusco, and find some answers. We're not in a terrible position here, but it's not great, obviously. Going to need some help from these mirrors. Opponent with a Hatter? Jeez. Ursula does not keep us alive here. The Hatter was pretty nuts. Be Prepared now off the table. We cannot find a Dragon's Fire. So I think we're just out of luck here, sadly. Yeah. Rough start. Really slow hand. Got punished for keeping the mirror, for sure. Which is, again, fine. These things happen. But the opponent played that well. 3-cost Emerald characters proving to be pretty problematic there. You make do with what you've got. Okay, not the best start to our day. Let's see if we can turn that around. Oh, okay, so again, I don't mind taking the stance of going for anti-aggro tools early here. So I think mulling Mickey, Maleficent, one of the Aladdins, and the Ursula is probably where I'm at. Okay. We can work with this. So we're almost certainly always inking one of these Maleficents. So we'll start there and pass to our opponent. Let's see what's up on the other side. Literally and metaphorically. Olaf means we have another Amethyst matchup. Unsure as to what type just yet. In that world, I think I'm inking this Aladdin basically always. And I would like to draw an inkable, ideally, to help smooth this hand out. More Emerald Amethyst. I haven't actually seen that much of this deck prior to today, so this is kind of intriguing. Alright, I think we're happy to ink the Maui, that's fine. We'll play the Maleficent in this case. Get the cards churning. And then we can probably just Friends plus Rafiki next turn. Help mitigate this Flynn Rider a little bit. Opponent's curve's pretty good here. Pongo is not terrible. So let's go ink the Pongo. Play the Rafiki. Sing the Friends. Finding another Rafiki's not bad there. Let's take out the Flynn and we'll discard... What will we discard? Probably just this magic mirror. Kind of tough there, actually. Not sure. Off you go. Oh. Let's make sure everything is running the way that it should be. Looks like it is. Looks like we're okay. Okay, opponent's Rafiki's here are a bit of a pain in the backside. Broom is mostly negligible in this matchup, I think. So happy to ink that. Am I just trading for this Cheshire Cat or the Rafiki? That's kind of the question here. Probably the cat. Quests for more. I don't think we're playing this Gaston, basically, ever. Much, much prefer it to be ink in this spot. But unfortunately able to grind some extra cards courtesy of Rafiki being alive. Into the Cusco, sure. We are a little ways away from the big sweep to clear everything up. I think we're supposed to be patient on this Dragonfire though, because we're only stopping our opponent gaining 1 extra lore. It's really kind of not worth it. Let's try and convince them to extend a little further. They really shouldn't in this spot, to be honest. They should be quite content in getting their 4 lore up to 10. Maybe inking and, you know, if they've got ways to draw more cards, doing that as opposed to extending any further, because this is a pretty face up, be prepared, I think. That's fine as well. Like, yeah, Maleficent kind of replaces itself, so it's a very fine play into a situation like this. Opponent knows we are almost certainly always clearing the board here, which we are, because we need to deal with this Cusco. Right, behind by 1 card, another Cusco coming down is a little teeny bit problematic. So we have some options here. We can Friends to draw ink and Dragonfire, which doesn't achieve very much. We can ink the Friends to get ourselves closer to the Maleficent. It's actually genuinely quite a tough spot. I think we're supposed to draw cards here. This is a little greedier. Okay, we're rewarded pretty handsomely for our greed. We'll keep the Inkable on top so that we can Maleficent if we wish. We obviously can't Mally this Cusco is the problem. Cusco showing you exactly why it's so strong. Just very, very difficult to keep in check. So we'll always start on the Cauldron here because we're always pretty happy to do that. Fairly certain I would rather keep the Inkable on top here. And I think we are just freezing this Archimedes. Opponent's playing this game very well. This Cusco is kind of just carrying them because we can't interact with it in any meaningful way except for Be Prepared, which we've only found the 1 of. Proving to be a bit difficult to handle. Mother Knows Best is such an incredible tempo tool. We are just boned here, right? Because we know we can't clear the Cusco. Problematic. We are having a rough start today. Pretty likely we hit the same player there twice, but the matchup seemed kind of hard in the face of multiple Cuscos. We didn't have our best starts by any stretch, but you can't always. 3 Elsa is a lot, by the way, and you want none of these in your opener. I am probably keeping Friends Be Prepared Pongo here. Okay, so without knowing what matchup we are against, it's another one of those things where I would kind of prefer to have both of these available in mirror match style matchups, and these in the aggressive matchups. So we've kind of got to pick a lane, and if we're wrong, we are wrong, but we're not out of tools. I'm going to ink the Pocket Watch here because I have a second one available if I need to find it. But obviously, if it's exactly the mirror match, we're going to be upset that we only have one Pocket Watch to work with. Mirror's not bad here. Okay, so we're unlikely to be pongoing at this moment in time. So let's get the mirror on the table. Pass to our opponent. Okay. Mali into the inkwell for the opponent is fairly telling. So let's ink the Maui. Play the Aladdin. It's a bit rough here. Obviously not doing very much, but we would rather be able to sing Friends for free next turn and then draw another card from the mirror if possible. Alright. Looks like a pseudo mirror to me, so let's get ourselves settled in for a long one. So, get our sing on, draw some cards, draw some cards. So we are on the bigger version of the deck than our opponent. We're on 65, they appear to be on 60, which is good to know. That Rafiki there is pretty good, actually. So the minute we have nothing, we're really super happy to broom back. But we don't really want to ink them if we can help it. So we'll ink the Archimedes, play our own Rafiki, punch the Maleficent for our troubles. And I think I'm holding these brooms for the moment. Huh. This matchup in general is pretty great. I've been having a good time trying to figure out all the intricacies of it, but there's a lot of moving pieces. I think there's a pretty steep learning curve to the mirror match. Putting with the Queen. The Queen's pretty good here. We don't have a clean answer in the form of Dragonfire or anything like that. Let's play the Mali. Cauldron. Okay, I can work with that. Second mirror, another Aladdin. I think we're taking the Aladdin in this case, because I just want to keep hitting my ink and holding my brooms if I can do so. The Queen's not the end of the world in this spot because we have a mirror of our own to kind of contest the card advantage, but we are falling behind pretty quickly here. Gotta decide if I want to burn a Be Prepared on this Queen, which is quite aggressive to be honest. Well, that makes it a little easier, I guess. Does it though? Because I kind of want this second mirror as well. Alright, let's take the second mirror. I think I'm just choosing to clear this up. I want this queen gone. The Be Prepareds are super interesting in this matchup because you kind of have to respect them and not overextend, but at the same time, they often don't end up doing all that much because both players are respecting them. As long as you've got some left, because you're going to go through your entire deck over the course of a game anyway. It's often quite a puzzle as to when you should be willing to use them. Opponent with the Aladdin, which is fine by me. Let's activate our Cauldron. Maleficent is not bad. So let's draw the Maleficent. Play the Maleficent. And now we have a decision to make about whether we're willing to ink a broom or not. I think I'm willing to ink one. Unsure if I should be, but I think I'm willing to ink one. We have 2 left over at that point, which means we can still loop. Maybe not quite as freely as you could do otherwise, but we can still loop. Opponent will begin grinding cards too. We find a little bit more ink for our trouble. We'll keep the Ursula on top. Ink the Pongo. And we'll go Ursula. Draw. Play a mirror. And we'll hold the Maleficent so that it doesn't get poached by this Aladdin for the moment. But inking of friends is quite interesting. Imagine they're quite light on ink if that's the case. The Elsa here is really kind of good. I'm normally not quite as happy as my opponent appears to be to fire off early Elsas in this matchup. It wasn't bad there, of course. How you doing, Cowboy? Another one. Are we going to have plenty of mirror matches? Is that what you're telling me? Sure. I can get on board with a chunk of mirror matches. Just it depends on which of us is going to be more willing to slam a chunk of Ursulas in our deck, I guess. I think this does only leave us with one Aladdin if we do this, which is kind of rough. Objectively, I think it's correct, though. We're going to be falling a little behind here, but... Okay, this was wrong. This was silly of me. I think... So I was supposed to mirror before I inked the Aladdin, because I'm always inking this Gaston. Sure. You'll genuinely concede? Fair enough. I don't know, man. I enjoy the mirrors, but I'm not great at them yet. I think I quite enjoy the intricacies of broom loops and like figuring out how to stack all those things and how to correctly pocket watch into each other's stuff and then clear your own board so your opponent can't do it back to you. I think there's so much cool like depth there, but I'm still fairly new to playing Ruby Amethyst in general, so I'm still learning a lot of how most of that functions. So I keep making mistakes in spots where it matters, which is mostly why I was getting some practice in today. Thought I might as well take the time while I had it. Let's clean this up and start grinding some more cards. But I can appreciate those mirror matches aren't for everybody. They are a bit mentally draining, to say the least. Not a fan since it's best of 3. Yeah, sure. The mirror match is definitely best of 1. I can 100% agree with that. I think if both people know what they're doing, it's just a bit of a joke at the best of times. Okay, we need to find another... Well, a Maleficent. We haven't found any, or any Dragon's Fires at this point to deal with this Mickey. I do not want this extra broom right now. This is going to be a little rough. Let's dig. Dig. The Elsa might help buy us some time. We're probably not in the market for mini Elsa in this matchup. We are not brooming anything yet, which is fine. Okay. Feels like we're getting ourselves back into this. Opponents' threats have lined up better than ours, which means we are massively, massively behind on lore, but that doesn't tend to matter all that much. Keeping our opponent's Ursulas turned off is kind of spicy. But we are running out of clean answers to threats at the moment. There is the Dragon's Fire. Okay, let's take a peek. A Maui. We're priced into taking one of these anyway, but I'm pretty sure we want one. And we are in a position where we need our 13th ink, so I think we're inking this queen. We're going to freeze, and I expect this. There's a decent chance this gets a Be Prepared out of my opponent. We'll take care of the Mickey and get on our own quest. And hopefully we can set up Maui plus Ursula to take down opponent's Ursula. And call ourselves stabilized, because we're the one with more items. We do indeed earn the Be Prepared, which I kind of expected some number of time. But we're on double mirror, they're on 1, which I think the Be Prepared actually favours us. We're up by 3 cards. Oh, fruity. I think I'm actually taking the Maleficent here, because I have double mirror active. So mirror, mirror, pocket watch being played. And I don't think we're inking this turn. We're ahead on ink count anyway. Opponent goes with the Aladdin. Am I willing to Maleficent this? Maybe. Do I want the shield before I want another Ursula? No, it's another Elsa. Probably. So I think that informs my decision. I think we go Maleficent, pop the Aladdin. We'll draw a card with the mirror. And we'll pass. So we're on 29-27. Got to keep an eye on where we are card-wise, because we inked a broom. So we're only on 2 brooms. Our opponent is probably on 3. Yeah, I probably would have played Amber Steel at the weekend, but my friend Liam prefers it over Ruby Amethyst, so I'm probably the one playing Ruby Amethyst. I'll take the Be Prepared here, that's fine. Get our quest on. Don't want to extend too far here, so let's go Maleficent. Draw the Be Prepared, play the shield. Draw 1 card. 26-25, so we'll still be ahead if we draw 1 more card. That is our last Aladdin. I think we're keeping that over the Maui. So we're now happy to bring back either an Ursula or an Elsa if the situation calls for it, but we're in no rush to do that. We can just be patient and wait. Opponent burns another Elsa, sure. They really do not want to extend, do they? They're very happy to start passing on these mirrors now too, so we've got to be pretty conscious of how many cards we're generating. I think I'm just keeping Archimedes as more ink here. Want to handle this Elsa. Don't really want to extend further into another Be Prepared. They are only through one copy. Tough. Alright, I think I'm committing to this for now. And just shield untapping the other Maleficents so we can keep it out of Aladdin range. I think I'm fine to be patient here. Okay. I expect this board to have been prepared pretty relentlessly. No? Or at least not worth it yet, which is fine by me. I'm not extending any further onto this board. This is more than enough. Sure. I can deal with the Dragon's Fire. I think it's exceptionally unflavorful you can Dragon Fire a Maleficent. Seems unnecessary. Arguably just incorrect. We'll keep the Mali on top here, that's fine. Questy. Untap the Mali. 23-21. So fine to draw a card. Have I inked this turn? I have inked this turn. Okay, we'll play the Mali. This is fine. 21-20. I'm fairly certain my opponent will now be cleaning this board up fairly regularly. They do find a pocket watch of their own, which is fine. No, they're struggling to either find one or do not want to commit Be Prepared to Maleficents, and just like all the Maleficents, purple and red, which is fair. The Rafiki's pretty good here. We didn't kill the Maleficent. Curious. Okay, well, I think that means I'm happy to extend an Elsa in this spot. Give the Elsa the rush. Hit the Rafiki. We're almost certainly going to end up trading for this Archimedes at some point in the future. Given that it's in the future, I would rather quest now. We'll untap the Elsa, keep it away from the Aladdin, keep the Dragon Fire on top and pass. This one's been a super interesting game. We were super behind early. Managed to claw our way back in off the back of one more mirror than our opponent. Kept things steady. That will earn the Be Prepared. I'm fine with that. Expected that 2 turns ago, to be completely honest. Alright. Keep another Dragon Fire on top. I think in this spot, we're just running out the Rafiki. And I'm probably inking this Maui. And we are 19-19, so we're not drawing any cards here with these mirrors. Opponent with a Rafiki of their own. This has become very, very grindy, hasn't it? Only having the one Elsa here is super unfortunate. Let's ink this Friends. We do not need this anymore. I think I'm fine just questing untapping with the shield here. No need to be the first one to blink if we don't have to be. 18-17. We know our other broom is fairly far down. We're happy to start targeting Elsa's here, though. Opponent has a second Mickey. Okay. I know the second place list from PPG was playing 2 Mickey, but you don't see 2 Mickey very often. We are going to take care of that with a Dragon's Fire. And same deal here, just do not want to be the first one to blink. We'll keep the Maleficent on top. We'll quest with the Rafiki. And untap it with the shield. Remain patient. The slow grindy... Oh, it's 3? Is that the 3rd Mickey? Am I nuts? That's an insane amount of Mickey. I don't mind too much here. They're all going to die. But I don't think I've seen anyone playing 3 Mickey. That's so many Mickey. I'll definitely keep the Be Prepared over the alternative. 15, 16. Put on a second Queen as well. Interesting to see that they're on so many cards that are designed for the mirror and, like, at the same time are on less cards than me. It's an interesting choice. Okay. Are we prepared enough to kill this Queen this way? Probably. We'll keep the other Mickey on top. And at this point, are we extending anything? Probably not. What a weird game this one has been. 4? Bruh, what is this list from my opponent? That's so many Mickeys. Alright, like, it's dying again, but I ain't happy about it. I probably will Maleficent this time. I'm in a spot where I'd like to have a threat on board myself to contest a Donald Duck, would you believe? There's the other broom. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I don't much care about these Donalds. This is okay. I'm not really ready to Elsa down Donald Ducks. I don't think I need to either. We'll keep the Maui. Get our quest on. Shield the Maleficent. I kind of want everything in my hand here. Yeah, sure. Slow and steady. 12, 13. Opponents on way less cards in hand than us. They will Maleficent the Maleficent. Understood. You should be questing with these here, bud. I think. There's just like, I guess unless you're worried of the Aladdin swing, which is actually completely fair. So, do I have enough to do it all here? If I 8, 7, 3, 1. So 15... no, we're 2 off. 19 ink is the number we needed to... So maybe we should have inked last turn to enable Elsa into Aladdin, rush the Aladdin, untap the Aladdin. Yeah, so we actually missed lethal last turn by not inking. Good to know. So we are going to clear this up this time and set ourselves up to be able to do that. But we could have won this turn if we'd inked last turn. Keep the Elsa on top. 12 placed 11. Cool. Okay. So at this point, we are just going to... How many Be Prepared are you through? 2? 1, 2. 2 indeed. Oh. Music's having a tough time. I'll take a look at that in a minute. Hopefully that'll be okay. Not sure what's going on there. Alright, cool. So we're gonna go Elsa. Lock this. Mickey. Broom. Broom, target Elsa. My Elsa specifically. rush the broom, hit the Aladdin, pulls the broom back to my hand, and that'll be enough. Okay. Time for the opponent to start the reverse plan. Lock down with their own Elsa into a Maui, sure. Does go to kill the Mickey, which I'm very fine with. The Pongo. So we can... We only go to 19 by doing that. So we actually don't have lethal anymore. Sure, so we'll untap the Elsa to the shield. Kill the opponent's Elsa with a dragon. Take a peek. Don't want either of those really, so we'll keep the friends to ink. Cool. And we'll Mally down the Elsa, makes sense. There is our friends, sure. Keep the Jafar, ink this. And then we can not quite steal it with Aladdin just yet, so we want to be patient on that front. Kill the Mally. Quest, untap, and do you have more Dragon's Fires or Be Prepareds left? Dragonfire, Dragonfire, Be Prepared, Dragonfire, Be Prepared, so 3 versus 2, 3 versus 2, so you have more Be Prepareds left, so I should hold on to the Pongo. Cool. Seems fair. Opponent realizes they got to start drawing or they ain't winning. Cool, that does the job, I believe. Because we can go Elsa, lock the Maui, play the Aladdin, give the Aladdin rush, hit with the Aladdin. Nice. That one took some thinking. Took some brain juice, as the mirror has a tendency to do. But we're learning. We're learning. I think you have to. Mirror matches. Mirror match is just great. I think it's long, grindy, lots of decision trees. It's pretty great. Okay, so anti-aggro tools are fine by me. So let's ship Be Prepared, Mouse, Pongo, Mally. We'll keep Rafiki Friends Maleficent. Okay, that's a lot of Be Prepared, so I did not want to see quite that many in my opening hand. Feels bad, man. Always inking this Aladdin. Off you go. Oh, I believe my opponent is our last opponent and does not want to play another mirror match, which is completely fair. I recognize the username. It is exactly the same. I'm pretty sure they just don't want to do that dance again, which is fine. I can't say I blame them. Alrighty. We boot ourselves back up for another one. Same kind of story here. I think I like keeping the wands and the card advantage, and I'll mull the top end. I like keeping the mirror if I can. I tend to find the more grindy matchups, if you don't find a mirror, you are just like so ridiculously far behind that if I have a hand that I think I can keep one, I tend to do so. So without knowing what our opponent's on, we are not running out of one cost card because we'd rather have the ink if we don't know. So we're going to ink the tips, pass, and then if our opponent is aggressive, we'll play out the Archimedes. If they're not, we will ink it. Yzma doesn't really answer my question, honestly. I think I'm leaning towards non-aggressive because it's Amethyst, but that really could be either way. Let's get this Cauldron down, get it to work. Looking for ink primarily. Neither of those ink. I would rather have an Elsa than a second mirror though. Whew. I can definitely see why some people do not want to play this deck, just because, quite frankly, like 9 to 10 rounds of this probably melts your brain if you aren't like super fluent. So we are actually Amethyst Emerald, which makes me really wish I'd kept the 1 cost to challenge this Flynn. Mistakes made, I guess. Probably could have inked the Queen pretty freely. Lessons learned. I would rather have the Pongo on top. We are going to be inking a Pongo, if that's the case, and just drawing some cards with friends on the other side. The old draw two. Do 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 do. I don't mind the lo-fi music in general. It's nice to have some copyright-free stuff that's Disney-themed, but it kind of makes me want to nap, I'll be honest. Okay, opponent's start is pretty good here. No one-drop does help, don't get me wrong, but Flynn into Cheshire is very solid. So we'll start on the Cauldron here. Let's get some information. That's an interesting choice. I guess I would rather have the Gaston. I think we are just supposed to get the Pongo on the table here. We're probably always inking the Queen in this matchup. Shame that this Be Prepared is going to be a little slow here at the moment, but hopefully we can get our way to it. Facilier for the opponent, going in the Inkwell, sure. Middle Facilier, I think it is. Because there's a small one, a middle one, and a big one. Opponent's going to draw some cards. I think I'm actually just okay with that, to be honest. Cheshire Cat not questing probably does us a favour. What's the follow-up is the question. Broom, sure. Wow, okay, opponent's deck looks pretty good. I am kind of a fan of what I'm seeing so far. I do think if we can get to Be Prepared, we're probably in great shape. Another friends on the other side. Curious. So let's do that. Five, run out the Gaston to contest in the meantime. Draw some more cards. Well, that's a bit of a punish. Hopefully we draw a card that can be inked in our next 2 draw steps, or we're going to look a bit silly. Da, 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 da. Mickey for the opponent, okay. That looks pretty cool, actually. I don't normally expect Mickey Broom out of the style of Emerald Amethyst. They've kind of fallen off a bit to be a bit more aggressive, but I like it. I think Mickey Broom in general is just pretty good right now. Only if you're running Pocket Watch, though. But it will quest the Broom. That's fine. So we're going to have to keep this in check a little bit here, which is a shame. Can't just wait to be prepared the whole way, or we're just going to lose. This Aladdin helps a bit. Okay, so I think I'm going to Dragon's Fire the Mickey. Punch the Broom. Punch the Mally. I just want to give my opponent the impression here that we don't have a Be Prepared, so they extend a little further. Aladdin with no Pocket Watch is a little fruity. If I'd played the other Aladdin this turn, I think it's probably still better anyway. Gives us options. The Dragon's Fire could be quite valuable though. That's quite a tough choice on the Cauldron. Opponent will get their quest on. Up to 15 if they want to. The beauty of this is that if they don't extend any further, I don't have to be prepared. I could just trade my board into what exists currently, which is it's pretty good for me. Maybe that's a rationale to keep the Dragon's Fire. So you can like trade in Dragon's Fire, whatever they play, keep the Be Prepared. Might be a valid argument. They do choose not to extend. Alright. Keep the Mally on top, in which case I think we're going to go Rafiki, play the Mirror, and I'm on board to discard here, I think. Clear the Cheshire Cat with the Gaston. Send the Rafiki at the Flynn. This is tough, genuinely. I think it's the Elsa. Genuinely a tough discard choice there. Alright, we're stable, but our opponent is on 15 lore. Some work required. Inking a Hatter is terrifying for me. How is that the worst inkable card in your hand? Okay. No inkables there is really rough. So we keep the Elsa, I guess. Can I afford to wait? Probably not. The fact they were so happy to ink a Hatter is just like terrifying to me. But I think waiting there is more detrimental. Elsa should hopefully be able to keep in check whatever my opponent plays here. Not that one. Oh, Cusco, never change. Oh. so rough. I have to play this out. I do not have a choice. These tempo tools are just so backbreaking against this deck sometimes. Well played by the opponent. Totally reasonable. Held the Cusco until after the Be Prepared. Very, very well played. But I think it's kind of why I want to keep exploring Emerald Sapphire, to be honest. Because I think, like, between Hades... Let It Go, Mother Knows Best, you just have the ability to play such a good tempo game. It's just how do you beat aggro? That's kind of the real question for that one. I think I'm mulling this Dragon's Fire. I think if we can, like, because the problem is you have to be fairly aggressive yourself. But tempo tools are like bad against aggro in general, right? You don't want to be bouncing aggro's cards. They're just so cheap they replay them all. Like, two of your tempo tools that make you so good aren't inkable. Neither is Cusco, so you gotta be careful how many you play. But I do think there's a shell there that should be pretty good. I just haven't quite figured it out. Put on Sapphire themselves into the Aurora. Big fan of Aurora. That's good 2-drop. Not impossible we need Pongos in this matchup. Probably don't need both friends. Pretty slow start here, unfortunately for me. Should have played the mirror there. Just clicked through my turn for no reason. I'm very good at this game, I promise. But we'll get to work. We'll draw another friends. That is fair enough. I think we'll ink the Pongo. Draw some cards. These last few hands I've been keeping have maybe been a bit too expectant of the slow decks. Like, my last few times I've been playing on Pixelborn, it's been a lot of mirror matches. And, like, you start to kind of overcompensate, I think, in how you mulligan. And the truth is, not everyone's playing Ruby Amethyst. Okay. Really light on the inkables here. It's proving to be a problem. This Elsa doesn't even do much, really, does it? Guess we save for the Maui. Keep the inkable on top. Too much expensive removal here. Far, far too much. I'm your father. Line will always get a smile out of me. Would have liked a Rafiki earlier, not gonna lie. I think this slows this down more efficiently than the Maui currently. Might have to ink the Maui in a pinch. So I would rather fire these first, in case that's what we have to do. At this point, if we can get to this Be Prepared, we're going to be in great shape because our opponent's going to be fairly low on resources, but getting there might be a bit of a stretch. 13. Keep the Inkable on top. So, what is the best way of doing this? 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it's just dragons firing the Aurora. Opponent goes to 17 and then we clear. It's going to be tough. Start was just too slow. Alright. Opponent knows obviously not to extend any further for obvious reasons. The Aladdin is better than the Mickey here for sure. Do what must be done, but 17 lore is probably going to be a bit too hard to catch back up, I think. Opponent with the Maximus and the Lilo. So we are alive. There's only quest for 3. We do definitely have to play this. Take the Dragon's Fire, I think, is the answer. Ink the Maui. Desperation mode engaged. Top decking Big Aladdin here would be kind of disgusting. Sadly, we can't look for it with the Cauldron and draw it with the Mirror because we are 1 ink short. Unless we draw an Inkable, and then we actually can make that play if we think it's our only out. Your boy's tired. Not sure why I'm flagging so much, but I'm fairly content having a chill time and just trying not to fall asleep where possible. Opponent is deep in the tank on this one. Can't say I blame them. Much to think about. They do indeed extend the Rapunzel. Interesting. Went for Rapunzel pass. So we start on the Cauldron because we should. None of that is particularly good. Excuse me, sorry. Sneezing like no one's business. So we just torch the Rapunzel, play the Mali, ink the Broom, and pass. Holding on by the skin of our teeth, folks. Well, that is a way to do it, I suppose. Now that's a choice. I feel like the other Be Prepared is much safer. Clear it out. Play a mirror. Off you go. Okay, we might still be in this one. Holding on by the skin of our teeth. Okay, playing nothing is a good sign. I accept. Big Aladdin would have been nice last turn, actually. I think at this point, I'm probably inking the first card we take anyway. I think I'm taking the Aladdin regardless. Draw, ink, play the Rafiki. Not play the Rafiki because we're only on 2. That's fine. That's fine, we have a Be Prepared. We probably don't want to run it out anyway. No Elsa currently is pretty telling. Not so much telling, but... Alright. Still very much in this one. Some super interesting decision points now, because we don't have a lot of breathing room. Decided not to keep the pocket watch, because our opponent made it very clear that they did not intend on ever giving us a window. At this point, they're going to be questing for all of it or none of it. We are going to be singing this Be Prepared. I'll keep the Dragon's Fire. Very glad that I kept that Be Prepared. Turns out, was the correct decision. Alright. Don't call it a comeback. Grammar. Sure. Why do I have to kind of respect this? I think I'm actually taking the Elsa here. Grind our way back in, folks. Slowly but surely. The Hades is really good here. Thankfully, so is the Elsa. Grabs the Lilo, sure. Oh, another Elsa is so strong here. Keep the Ursula. Now the question becomes, do I need to Dragon's Fire this grammar? And I think the answer is no, I do not. Right, Aladdin is never going to get a swing in here at this point. I think we're just inking it. This is like still very losable to the right top decks. Opponent's anemic bodies still all kind of somewhat threatening. Let it go, sure. Again, somewhat unflavorful to be able to let it go in Elsa. Seems mildly illegal. So again, we will Cauldron, keep the Be Prepared. That's kind of huge. Kill Grammar. You could put it into your Inkwell. We don't really care. And this is just going to be Ursula. Draw this, ping you down, play the Aladdin, and we might have got there, folks. 2 spot removal spells here. Another Let It Go off the top does buy our opponent a reprieve from the Aladdin specifically, but they are on 17 with no cards, no board. Time for us to close this door nice and quickly. before they catch back up. Let's just go quest. Draw a card. Draw a card. Play Rafiki. Play Rafiki. Pass. Oh. Yeah, Aurora not going to be good enough in this spot. Keep the Elsa. Put the Aurora down. And start turning the engine sideways. This one was very much in the balance for the longest time. I think we just about managed to close the door. Ooh. Opponent would like to be our guest. Sure. Stitch is, you know, the best body they could really hope for in a spot like this, but it is not going to be enough. We have ground away enough cards that we are safe. Oh, that one had my heart in my mouth for a few turns there. Very much was hanging in the balance for a hot second. Oh. Let's get another one in. These, to be honest, I'm surprised by how much these Ruby Amethyst games are taking out of me. It's good to know for the future if I end up playing the deck on a somewhat regular basis, but damn, it is brain juice required. Okay, so no Broom, no Dragonfire, no Elsa, no Be Prepared. I think that's where I'm at. Okay, not a bad little start here, so I'm going to lean towards holding Archimedes until I know if it's a matchup that I want to run it out. Should help us inform whether we want to ink Aladdin or Maleficent too. Opponent with Steel Aladdin. Captain Hook, sure. Alright, I lean towards running out in that case. This is almost certainly not a matchup we care much for Mickey Mouse. So let's contest this a little bit with the Archimedes. Okay, all we know so far is Steel. Okay, Emerald Steel again. We had a bit of a tough time against this matchup earlier because the Cuscos really did do a lot of work in carrying my opponent. That being said, pretty happy here to start grinding the card advantage. This hand is very good at doing that. Hold the Archimedes off, make sure it's available to take care of Flynn if required. Inking a Hatter on the other side. Opponent's curve was pretty good. Thankfully our board has been pretty good at counteracting said curve. Double pocket watches means we're probably discarding one of them to Flynn, so let's get singing. Draw some cards, seems good. Maleficent. Drawing a Cauldron. So let's challenge Flynn, discard a pocket watch. Question is, are we inking the other one? The answer is maybe. Yeah, I think so. So knowing that we have no pocket watches in our deck is definitely something to be wary of, but I don't tend to find this matchup going long enough that pocket watches are super relevant in needing to rush stuff in. Got to be cognizant of the fact we do not have any left. Okay, pretty happy to trade this Rafiki straight on. It's a pretty good draw. I will cash in the Aladdin to ink for now. We'll go... Okay, so again, I got to get out of this habit, because at the minute, I keep not frenzing before inking, and I definitely should be to get more information, because I'm pretty sure I'm happy for this to happen, or this to happen, at this point. Yeah. And yeah, immediately kind of punished for that, which is good to recognize. Got to get out of that bad habit. I'll keep the Aladdin here, preferably. So, do we Rafiki, or do we stop the hands getting value? I think we actually do it that way, right? Where we can go like this and this. Oh, so we actually should have done this the other way around. Yeah, okay, so I should have Mali'd first. I'm playing badly now. Mali'd first, Archimedes second. So the Archimedes dies and the hands can't ping it. Instead, I chose to mis-sequence that. So, not ideal. We're learning, though. That's the important part. Could have sequenced that slightly better. There is the Cusco. No clean answer to that right now. But to be fair, we have the Maui, but it does mean that they have to... gain their 3 lore from it first. So Archimedes is going to go down here for no value. Was a bit silly of us. Just did not sequence our stuff correctly. So the question is now if the Maui is worthwhile in this spot. And I think it probably just is. Again, keep the Aladdins. You get a little punished if they can clear it. What's the punish? Is it Tink? Big Tink doesn't... There's not a concern here, so fairly certain that this is correct. And we'll clear the hands and clear the hook and have a Maui left in play to clear the Cusco if it quests. I guess grab your sword. Could definitely be a punish here too. Smash would have been. They chose not to smash, so... I'm assuming they have an answer to this Maui to keep the Cusco safe. Well, safe-ish. I'm probably happy to run a Rafiki into it if I need to. If it's grab your swords, though, then it's pretty bad news. Genie. Why? That one seems kind of loose, I'll be honest. Let's take a peek with the Cauldron. Neither of these are great. Send the Maui back in. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it was a great idea. Maybe I'm missing something there. Gotta find an answer to this Genie, though. At the moment, it's going to be a little hard to take care of. I really do want to brew some more Emerald Sapphire. I think there should be a really good tempo deck in there. Just got to figure out the numbers. I guess we're digging for answers for this Genie. This is more efficient, I think. All of the Maleficents. Again, we don't much care for Mickey Mouse in this matchup. That's fine. We're fine questing. If they want to trade, that's no big deal. But this is a little problematic. Need ourselves a clean answer to this Genie. Dragon's Fire, Maleficent, even Be Prepared, I will accept. But we kind of need one. I'm not finding one. That counts. That does in fact count. So... quest... Can I afford to let my opponent go to 18 lore, or is that too dangerous? That feels pretty dangerous. I really willing to give up an Elsa to stop that from happening. I think so. I would like to ink one of these Aladdins. Huh. Tough game. Yeah, so we're gonna go Cauldron. Hey guest, how you doing? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of just diversifying stuff in general. As I say, the plan is very much to spin up channels for most of the content I create. The dream still remains that, you know, I intend on opening a game store when the finances are there, but the truth is the finances are not currently there. And I think making the decision to step away from content was a bit early, maybe a bit premedicated. So I'm going to do my best to up the game over here. I miss it. It's simply put. So we're going to do the work. Going to do the work as best we can and get ourselves up and running everywhere. And it's been nice. It's been great. As I back writing articles for a number of esteemed sites, and very happy to be doing so. As step one. We'll see where it ends up. Hopefully you're doing very well as well. Appreciate you stopping by and saying hello on a Lorcana stream. Very much going to be a lot of grassroots work to do, but that's exactly what I did for Snapzone, so I can do it again. Another genie is a bit of a ball ache, but thankfully we do have a clean answer. Please leave. Please leave the establishment. Ooh. I guess we're going to keep chaining dragons off here. Taking ambitious steps to attain a dream. Yeah, for sure. The dream is definitely never gone away. Truth be told, we got quite unlucky to end up in the situation we found ourselves in, which is fine. Sometimes life isn't fair. But that doesn't mean it's over. And I care too much about... I've kind of said this a number of times, but we live in a day and age where it's just more important than ever that people have safe spaces to be themselves. Physically, mentally, online. And that's just what I want to spend my life doing. It's too important. It's far too important to make sure that people have safe spaces. So if I can't currently have a physical premises, I got to do my best to make sure I can cultivate some online. Everyone deserves a place at the table. It's as simple as that. Bought a bunch of Lorcana stuff when you were in the States, and they don't sell it in Brazil. Interesting. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that, actually. But yes, Pixelborn is a fantastic way to still get your fix if you don't have access to it in paper. I'm quite literally playing my first paper event at the weekend, which we're preparing for now. I don't actually own very many cards at all. Again, finances are a bit tight right now. But thankfully, I have teammates and colleagues who are very happy to lend me decks, which goes a very long way. So again, happy to keep the anti-aggro tools early here. Let's keep a little bit of card advantage in the process as well. Seems good. Okay, so same kind of deal here. We're not going to run out the Archimedes until we know if our opponent is aggressive or not, and whether we would rather it be ink or a body. Happy to be patient in that regard. Pongo from the opponent. Okay, so this is one of two things. This is either the mirror match, on a similar list to myself playing the Pongos, or it's red-green evasive. And in that world, in both of those worlds, the Archimedes is a bit rubbish, so I would rather just turn it into ink. See what my opponent intends on doing. Okay, we are a mirror match, so we got to slow ourselves right down, get grinding, Get ready for these broom loops again. Opponent with the early Cauldron is going to go a long way in helping them in that regard. Alright, so which of these threes do we want to establish? I don't think the Aladdin is particularly relevant in this matchup, even though we could shift. It feels like it probably doesn't come up very much. Going to establish the Elsa, look to sing with it next turn if it survives. That is very much the plan. But we'll get drawing some cards themselves. Seems good. Okay. Well, we will start by drawing cards because we know we're going to be doing it. Okay. So the plan here is going to be to extend this Pongo and then not extend any further. Because I don't want to ink the Mickey, the Broom, or even kind of the Mali, really. Happy to ink the Aladdin if I need to. But I don't want to extend into Be Prepared too much. So this is going to be enough of a force to kind of chip away some early lore, force some spot removal answers from my opponent, and then hopefully earn a Be Prepared eventually, because I do not wish to extend any further, given the choice. Mirror is a fantastic draw here, though. So let's quest. Opponent's doing a pretty good job at grinding cards, but we'll start doing that ourselves with this mirror now. The early Cauldron is so strong in this matchup. My problem is it's so detrimental early in so many other matchups. I love having one Cauldron in the deck, but I don't think I can rationalize a second. I feel like the second one is just a bit too much of a liability in a number of matchups. Okay, again, we don't really want to ink any of the things in our hand here. Unfortunately, that means we're inking the Mali because we have double Dragon's Fire, and we'd rather keep our Broom Loop elements available to us. But inking and drawing cards here is definitely the name of the game. Nothing we're happy to broom yet, just a friend in the bin. Opponent misses on the ink. That's kind of huge. We'll draw a card. Quest. And so do I give up another Mali to play a Maleficent in this spot? I actually think I do. Don't know why they didn't Cauldron, mind you. Should have looked. Should have dug for another piece of ink. Well, we lost many Malis to our Inkwell, but we have a handful of Dragonfires. Opponent does find some ink. Remembers the Cauldron this time. We're definitely not extending any further than this, because this should earn a Be Prepared next turn anyway. You'll DM me? No worries, man. I will appreciate. I'd love to have a chat. If you fancy having a conversation, you know where I am. Always happy to help out if I can. But I'm happy to be around, and honestly I'm very honoured that so many people missed me. It's always a nice thing as well. But feel free to lurk, enjoy my docile British tones and some Disney lo-fi in the background, and have a lovely day, guest. It's good to see you. Alrighty. Just going to keep the engine churning here. Having the mirror when my opponent doesn't is great. Why aren't I howling or mining? Turns out howling is against terms of service, and I am far too fat to mine well. Is the sad truth, Darren. But I try. I both howled and mined. I'm good at neither. At least not during the day. During the nighttime when the moon comes out. Different story. Which event am I heading to? I'm at Fanboy 3 in Manchester for their winner box at the weekend. Which is my first paper event. I've been playing plenty of Lorcana, but not in paper. So I'm looking forward to shuffling up. I get to do the full weekend. I get to play the Bright Lights pre-release, and then I get to play a winner box the day after, which is going to be a really good time. Probably did a good job of clearing us down at this point in time. We don't really want to ink this Maui if we can help it. Let's see what's on top of the deck. Alright, well, we'd rather have the pocket watch. That's fine. Ink the Maui, play the watch, throw it back to our opponent. Just keep grinding out cards with our mirror while we have a chance. Bright Lights Friday night. And Sunday, Lorcana said, jeez, he's going harder than I am. I don't have a Friday night Bright Lights. Try saying that 3 times fast. To go to, sadly, or I might have considered it. But, no, I'm very lucky that my good friend Liam Canning is putting me up for a night in Manchester. So I'm going to stay with friends and go play the 2 events back to back. Should be a lovely weekend. I desperately need it, to be honest. I've needed a bit of a break. Been working quite hard recently. I'm very jealous of the full 3 though. Is this enough for me to bite the bullet? I don't think it is. I think I'd rather just Dragons, fire this Queen, draw another card. I would really like to draw something like an ink here, because I don't want to ink any of my inkables currently. Okay, so this is something I'm considering with my list currently, is that I might want a second shield in here, because I keep finding myself in spots in the mirror where I want to ink, and I only have 1 shield, and inking the shield is like detrimental at that point. Because you really do want one to be able to go full combo at the end of the game. So I think I'm going to find space for a second shield. It's a weird spot, but it keeps coming up, so it seems like it's probably worth considering, at least. The Rafiki is mostly irrelevant. So, again, having a mirror when your opponent doesn't have one just feels like cheating. We are going to be a bit sad to keep inking all these Maleficents, but you do what you gotta do. I'm happy to run this out. I'd rather just have the Rafiki on board here. Shield's never done huge work for you in the mirror. That's fair. I personally find if you get into full endgame situations where it comes down to like the 19 ink loops, where it comes down to Elsa your opponent, play the Aladdin, rush the Aladdin, hit with Aladdin, untap with shield, hit with Aladdin again, so you can swing lore by 8, you need a shield. And if you don't have a shield in the endgame loops, you can only swing lore by 4. Which tends to be where I am with it. Like, I'm much happier giving up the second pocket watch than I am the first shield. Opponent will also ink a Mali, sure. And we shift. Oh, we're not shifting. We're just jamming out Big Aladdin. That's fair. Do I want Big Aladdin to be dead? It's a bit of an aggressive Dragonfire, to be honest, but I think it's probably correct given that I'm on 11 lore. Let's make sure this thing just doesn't go anywhere. We'll draw. Happy to ink the Pongo here. That's fine. Get our quest on. Do I have anything I'm happy to burn this first broom on? Not really. Off you go. Opponent finds a mirror. Sure, they are back in this game now. Plenty of spare resources to burn on the mirror. Do you find another Elsa? This is an interesting spot to burn your first Elsa, to be honest. If we had an Inkable, I would be more interested in doing so, because I get a mirror activation in 2. So I think we mirror, and now I think we do it. And we ink, jam our first Elsa, lock the 2 of these, kill the Aladdin, prevent the shift. They can, at this point, rush a normal Aladdin if they want to. We can't quite untap the Rafiki. But I'm okay with that. I think they're down to 2 big Aladdins.
To those of you who have just joined us, welcome
Opponent just trying to catch up on cards, which they're doing a pretty good job of, to be fair. They ink a Broom. I accept. We find a big Aladdin. Is that? So this is... I don't have enough to Elsa down the Maleficent. So this is 15, 16, 17, 18. So it's not actually lethal in this spot. Which is a shame. So I think we're just going to trade for the Maleficent. Try and set up lethal next turn off the back of the Aladdin. Quest. Draw a card. Untap the Elsa. Keep it safe. Am I happy to ink any of the above? Not really. Not brooming anything yet either. Pretty happy just to run out Rafiki here as another body and pass. And then we can set ourselves up to win next turn. If our opponent taps this Maleficent, we are a ways away from... We would need to be on 16 ink to be able to Elsa first. So we do currently need our opponent to tap or to exert to be able to steal a game that way. But looks like they're happy to do so. That makes a lot of sense. So now we need to consider if that's still something we want to do, and it probably just is here. It feels like it's a bit too strong. So, quest, jam the Aladdin, rush it in, hit the Mali. I would rather untap the Aladdin than draw a card here, I think. And I'll link the Pongo. Off you go. We are now down an Elsa, so I'm pretty happy to play my first Broom at any point that I may choose to. Maybe you should have done so there, but I think there's a good chance this board gets be prepared. Or be prepared. Gets prepared? This board gets prepared. Let's go with that. I guess Elsa instead. The shield's gonna make that irrelevant, right? Actually can't get a kill. It's a little annoying. That's fine. I am more than happy to be patient here. Dragon's Fire, we're in pretty commanding shape, I think. Should be our game to lose. Draw a card. Draw more cards. 28-29. Standard item in quest. Can't quest off the shield, right? Because it can't quest for the rest of the turn. Definitely was an argument to shielding this. To keep it safe from opposing rushes from the Pocket Watch. But I think we're probably fine. There's definitely an argument to shielding this, though. I could see a world where it's correct. I'm going to put our Elsa back. Yeah, I can definitely see a world where our opponent has a big Aladdin here and rushes it in and we get punished. But we couldn't prevent that anyway because the Rafiki is also exerted. That's fine. I don't mind getting prepared here. We kind of... getting prepared here. Let's stop, murdering the English language. That Aladdin is actually somewhat painful, because if we find another big Aladdin, we actually aren't winning the game. This Ursula does nothing currently, which is very funny. Alright, let's... 8, 9, 10, 11. We'd have to ink to draw. 28-28 in terms of deck currently. I think I would rather just Elsa lock this down to stop the shift from mattering much. Well, the shift matters anyway. It's fine. Draw a card and throw it back. I'll link the Jafar though, that's fine. Yeah, sure, off you go. I guess there's a world where we could have just Rafiki'd this down. Yeah, Rafiki'ing this is probably worth it. I think my opponent has enough Dragonfires left. Yeah, we're probably just supposed to Rafiki the Aladdin down. Okay. Drawing a Maui. So I actually kind of don't want to be prepared yet, do I? So I think we just Maui, hit the Aladdin, shield the Maui, draw a card. Yeah, Darren, you're right. I alluded to it before you got here. But I have a really bad habit of inking before I mirror and or cauldron. It's just a bad sequencing habit, and I need to get out of it. I understand it's incorrect. I understand why it's incorrect, and yet I continue to do it anyway because I am very good at Lorcana. So yeah, I'm trying to correct myself from doing it. It's a bad habit I used to have in Hearthstone too, where I would forget to life tap first. It's a known issue. Working on it. But it's doing a pretty good job of keeping us in check here, to be fair. 24-23. Might Burner be prepared here? I appreciate that, Darren. It's nice to know it's not just me. Yeah, I think we are. I think this is enough. And we'll just gotta be a little cautious here. But we're pretty comfortable, I think, still. Cauldron before Broom is definitely an interesting choice. Yeah, that's not one I have done yet, I don't think. I'm almost certainly going to at some point. But yeah, it's a known bad mechanical habit, and I like to think I probably won't do it in paper, but I absolutely will. Okay. Opponent is doing a good job at keeping this Ursula turned off. So we're now slightly behind. So I think I'm actually fine picking the fight here. A little bit more patience. These mirror matches are genuinely incredible. I think I could probably play this deck for like a year and still find new nuances. Like, every time I play it. There's so much to learn about this mirror match. It's kind of nuts. Opponent doesn't trade away the Broom, that's fine. So how many be prepareds are we through? One, just the one. Ew. Oh while this is happening. Yeah, I agree, Darren. I genuinely couldn't agree more. I've kind of commented on this a few times in... I think I actually do want the Ursula. A few times for people that have asked, in the... When the starter decks came out, the first couple games I ever played of Lorcana, I was very unimpressed. I just couldn't really see the appeal. Because I was not... Like, it felt like you went first and won a lot of the time. And I was very much not enjoying the gameplay that I'd had so far. I don't think I'm drawing a card here, actually. And I found after set 1 dropped and a lot of the spoilers and cards that were printed, I just was pleasantly surprised by, as you say, the amount of skill expression that came around from a number of decks. I think Ruby Amethyst is definitely the main stalwart in that regard. Like, the mirror match is just something else entirely. It feels like old school blue-white control mirrors from Magic the Gathering. That's what it feels like. But there are a few other examples. I think even the aggressively slanted decks have very interesting levels of skill expression, which is something I didn't expect from the game at all when it first landed. That's a painful Aladdin. 2 plays 15. The Ursulas are now online, however. So we can go Shield, Sing, Be Prepared, Cauldron, keep the Pongo, draw the Pongo, play the Pongo. We do have a Broom in the Broom and 2 Elves in the bin, so we can start chaining off some Mickey turns in the near future. Yeah, pleasantly surprised. Didn't think the game was going to be for me to start with, and then got deeper in and kept enjoying myself in different situations. I still think there's a fantastic tempo deck to be found in Emerald Sapphire. I don't think anyone's actually found the list yet. Kind of working away on it myself in the background. There's just so many good tempo tools in those colours. Feels like it has to be there somewhere. This is probably just Mali and nothing else, right? Don't need another mirror at this point. Would rather just ink a Gaston. 16-16. I could probably afford to draw 1 card, that's fine. Ink the Gaston. Well, we know it's the Gaston anyway, so we should draw it to ink it because we intend to. Been very glad that I kept this shield, which is worth knowing. Again, it feels like Dragons firing a Maleficent is so unflavorful. Why does that not say non-dragon character? Alright. Second Pocket Watch is pretty good, actually. I think I only have 1 Aladdin left, though, so I've got to be a little careful here. I think that's enough for now. 13, 14. I don't really want to draw. Does have another Maleficent, sure. Inking so many Mallies early was really kind of problematic for me this game. Another Maui. Keep the Dragon's Fire, that's fine. So we starting the Broom off here? I think we probably are, actually. So, lock, Mickey, Broom. Select, we go my discard pile, we go Broom. We go rush the Broom. Broom hit the Archimedes, pull it back to my hand. We go Broom. Select my pile, we go Elsa. We go rush the Broom. Hit the Maleficent, pull it back to my hand. Tempting to ink this Maui, to be completely honest, to get ourselves to 19 for the Aladdin when we draw it. But I think I'm going to wait for now. I think I have an Aladdin left. I'm actually not 100% sure, which is kind of annoying. Should have been paying more attention, but my attention is obviously kind of split. But I think I have one left. Dragon's Fire does take down the Mickey, that's fine. We can Broom the Mickey back. Man, imagine if I had the Aladdin here. Jeez. So we are definitely supposed to continue Brooming this turn, for sure. We'll keep the Jafar, I guess. We're definitely inking the Tibbs. We do want to get to 19. So we're going to go Mickey, Broom, select my graveyard pile, Elsa, rush the Broom, Broom hit the Maleficent, play the Broom, select. We are going to grab an Aladdin here in case I don't have one and I'm misremembering. Rush the Broom, hit the Maleficent. 15 plays 10, I can probably afford to draw a card now. Quest, Shield to untap the Elsa, keep it safe, draw another Elsa, off you go. Man, these mirror matches are insane. They are genuinely so thematic. The shield is so relevant too. I truly think so. Opponent will set their own brooms up. I'm assuming there's a Mickey coming. This is Elsa Mickey, I imagine. They ink. Ink Elsa Mickey gets them... Oh, they can't rush though at that point. They can't... If they have the Mickey, they should have played the Mickey first before the broom. Because then now the broom costs 2. They do pick up an Elsa. Yeah, you can't Elsa me here. Well, you can ink Elsa me, but you can't rush the broom afterwards. Alright, cool. Oh! Mirror matches, man. Sweet, sweet mirrors. Okay, I'm going to be back in just a second, folks. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. So bear with me. I'll be back in a sec. Don't go anywhere. Perfect. Thanks for bearing with us, folks. If you are chilling for the live stream and you haven't subscribed, by the way, I recommend doing that. Fully intend on having a fairly regular schedule of Lorcana content coming out on the channel, everything going to plan, so please do consider pressing the button. I would appreciate it. Still with that. Perfect. Cool. Sorry folks, just got to take a second. Looks like we have a small technological issue I've got to deal with. Hang fire. We want to be mulling for the anti-aggro tools here, so we're shifting away most of this hand. We're good? I think we're good. Sorry, just dealing with this issue on the other side. I'll be right with you. Okay, so we're against some steel. Perfect. Okay, amber steel, sure. This matchup is pretty good for the most part. I am fine to be inking pocket watches here, and I think I'm just going to contest this stitch. Although the bodyguard is almost certainly coming, we can clear it up. Not immediately, but pretty quickly. So that's okay. I can work with that. Alright, that should be fine. Cool. Sorted, nothing's broken. Speaking of broken, Simba does make its way onto the table. A little unfortunate for us here, but again, we can work with this. So, do we want this Gaston? That's the question. I think we actually do. So we're going to ink a Pongo. We're not questing for obvious reasons. I'm just going to try and train this into Rafiki and clear our opponent's whole board here. A little weak to grab your swords, funnily enough, but can't come down until turn 4 at the earliest. So we should be okay. Inks the smash. Good to know. That one's genuinely good to know. Opponent chooses not to quest at all. Alright. I can work with that. So a little scared of swords at this point. But we can't really do much about it. Purple, red, enjoy it. Yeah, Raven! Raven, why you gotta be like that? Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest with you, friend. I'm a degenerate control player when you give me the choice. And this mirror match... This mirror match, dude, it's got all the grindy meat. I am a bit of a degenerate. Also, it's the deck I have access to. So, there is also that. That's a big-ass stitch that I would really rather not be there. And he's going to be there for at least 2 turns. I'm not exactly fluent with Ruby Amethyst, to be completely honest with you. I'm still fairly new to the deck, but I'm enjoying the nuances. Except for round timers. Yeah, Kawa was in here earlier complaining to me about round timers, and I kind of agree. If you are expecting to play 3 games in the mirror match, you're probably lying to yourself. I don't really see a world where that happens even remotely consistently. Man, this stitch is absolutely cheeks for us here, but we'll have to be patient about it, I guess. Yeah, I can imagine. As I said, I've not played much Paper Lorcana at this point because, well, I don't own a lot of cards. I'm very much lucky to have teammates that do. But I'm very much looking forward to it, and I'm sure I'll hate it when the round timer kicks in. But, you know, we'll figure it out. That's why you play green and enjoy your life. To be fair, I've been playing a lot of green, a lot of emerald anyway, Raven, because it's the budget deck of choice, right? Like when you're informing people on, you know, how to get in, the most expensive card they've got to consider is a $15 Cusco, which is a bit easier to stomach than a $60 Rapunzel. I think the decks are really good too. I keep saying this. I've been super vocal about my thought process on it, but I think there's a really good Emerald Sapphire list out there that hasn't been found yet. I'm still working on it. Yeah, I have a Liam Canning, the gentleman you would know at Fanboy 3. He is a very good friend of mine, has been for a number of years. We're actually considering going into business together. And thankfully, he owns most things. This is bad, folks. This is what we call bad. This Rockstar Stitch is doing exactly what it's supposed to do and ruining my whole day. We don't really have much of a choice here. This needs to die. Emerald Sapphire as well. So I think the deck that I've talked about it a few times. I made a video on this channel actually about it. The aggro deck that top 8'd the 1k. I think that deck is good. I genuinely think it's very good. It's a great entry point to the game. But I think there's a really good tempo shell out there too. I think between like Mother Knows Best, Let It Go, Hades, there's so many good like time buying tools. And you have so many ridiculous questers in Emerald, the quest for so much, that like it feels like there just should be a good deck out there that can just be like, okay, here's my big idiots. Oh, you want to try and take them off the board with your characters? Oh, your characters aren't there anymore. Good luck. Quest. But I haven't found it yet. I'm still working away on that. Okay, we can get ourselves back in a pinch here in a way. This Pocket Watch is definitely going in the bin. This Maui, however, is gonna say you're welcome to this Simba, and then we're gonna take care of this Lilo. We're definitely playing catch up here. The early start with the Rockstar gave our opponent so many options, which you kind of hate to see. But yeah, my Emerald Sapphire is my brew that I'm working on in the background. I was gonna play Amber Steel at the weekend. But Liam prefers it, so I didn't want to be a dick. He was like, "You can play it if you want to. It's fine. Have Amber Steel." I was like, "It's okay. I'll be the bad guy. I'll play Ruby Amethyst. You can play Amber Steel." So I'm learning the intricacies of the deck, and I've played so many mirror matches today, and my brain is sludge, and I love it. It's great. Opponent will get all questy on us. That's fine. We can keep clearing here. I don't mind clearing down. We have access to the mirror. We will eventually have an Elsa. This is okay with me. So I would rather keep the Rafiki around. You're an Emerald Steel enjoyer. Yeah, I saw your tweet when you were murdering souls and killing fools with Emerald Steel. And I think that deck's really good too, but I think there's a lot of questions about how to correctly build it. Because you are like fundamentally a mid-range deck, right? You want to be playing to the board quickly in a lot of matchups with your Flynns and your Cheshire Cats and stuff, but you also have the big old anti-aggro package because you have access to Grab Your Swords, you have access to Giant Tink, even like Mini Tink is fine. But there's a number of ways to make that deck cohesive. I look forward to kind of figuring out that puzzle too. People kind of aren't really sure about the best way to put it together. This is an interesting spot. We're definitely inking this Mickey. The question is, are we Ursula-ing or Elsa-ing? And I am honestly pretty happy to Elsa here. You view it as an aggro deck that beats aggro. Yeah, that's essentially my understanding of traditional mid-range, is that you are the bigger aggro deck, right? You still lose to the control decks. They should go bigger than you. You're often not fast enough. You obviously can have fast enough starts to get underneath the control decks and punish them and stuff, but traditionally they should come out on top of you more often than not. But you are the aggro deck that murders the other aggro decks, which, I mean, you want to talk about Giant Tink. I mean, that's the perfect card to be doing that kind of nonsense. Giant Tink is just going to make every other aggro deck in the building very sad. As it should, because the card is nuts. Alright, playing cleanup duty here with our Elsa. Feel like we're in a pretty good shape now. It was a little scary early, but these Ursulas should help stabilize a bit. Probably inking this Aladdin, because it's not going to be coming down anytime soon. Would rather have access to Mali. Seems good. Whole New World is very nice versus control. Yes, exactly. And I think that's kind of the joy of the steel, the aggressive steel decks, right? is that you still get to just play to the board super quickly, empty your hand out, and go, cool, whole new world. Your sweepers are in the bin, and I have 7 new cards to punish you with. And, like, I think that's where a whole new world is at its best. I like the idea of playing it in mill, in deck out, and, like, kind of using it as a combo piece. But I think for the most part, I'm going to be blowing the soul out of that Stitch. For the most part, it's, like, at its best and shines the most when it gets the ability to like refill your hand. It's like super good at that. I would like that Stitch to be uber dead. We'll get questing away, start catching up, and this should be us kind of with the corner turned, I hope, and able to just outquest our opponent from here. Another Rockstar, please stop. That's the 3rd one. I don't have an answer to the 3rd one. Might just be able to race the 3rd one, to be completely honest. Not impossible. Up to 11. Never mind! Please leave. Sometimes you can just be lucky. Being lucky is better than being good. Yarp. Thank you very much. Fruity. Very fruity. Deck feels great. I think I want to find space for the 2nd shield. I think that's my only real, like, I need a 2nd shield is my only, like, qualm at the moment. But every other change we've made has felt pretty good. I've been happy with the mixture of 3s, the 2 Gastons, that kind of stuff. And beyond. So we would like to throw this back. We'll keep the Gaston in the dark. Throw this back, throw this back. Throw this back. I think I'm throwing the Be Prepared in most matchups too. Seems good. Found one anyway. I accept. Okay, so what are we inking in the dark? I'd like to hang on to the Gaston for now in case my opponent is aggressively slanted. I guess we're inking one of these friends to start things off. Would rather not ink the other ones if possible. Opponent inks a pocket watch. Alright. So that's probably not aggressively slanted, let's be honest. So I guess I'm more likely to want Archimedes than Gaston against Amethyst. That might not be true, actually, if they're Emerald Amethyst. So I think we're going to ink this first. We're probably inking them both. But we're not running out this Gaston. We are almost certainly going to ink it, given the choice. Opponent inks a Broom, sure. Are we a mirror match? Because if you're inking Brooms in the mirror, I'm very happy. Alright, so we only know they're Amethyst so far, which they're Magic Mirror, so it's very likely that we're on a mirror here. We've seen Pocket Watch, Broom, Mirror. So I'm going to act like this is the mirror and ink accordingly. Been an absolute abundance of mirror matches on Pixelball in the last few days, which is good for me, actually, because it's the matchup I need to focus on learning the most. Ah, no, Amethyst Steel, sure. Similar prospect, though. Amethyst Steel is a bit better in the face of aggro, but should be a little smaller than us the majority of the time. So we are just going to get singing. Grind some cards. Well, I guess I keep grinding cards. Feels good. More Maleficence for my opponent. Sure.
Prove yourself brave, truthful, and unselfish.
I'm not really seeing the appeal at the moment of being something like Amethyst Steel over Emerald Steel. I think Emerald Steel does the same thing, but better. Be interesting to see what's in my opponent's list as we carry on. They do leave themselves with a Maleficent available. I think we're happy to ink this Gaston. And I'm probably just running out this Pongo. I guess you get Beast. You do get Beast Hard-Headed, which is probably pretty good in these Magic Mirror mirrors. The Magic Mirror mirror. Alright. It feels like that might be maybe a consideration. Okay, so this is Ink Maui, Rafiki, hit the Maleficent, quest with the Pongo, draw some cards. Off you go, friend. Yeah, I kind of like the idea maybe of having Beast to be able to break opposing mirrors. Seems pretty good. You do kind of get to play more of the small Elsa and not feel bad about it too. Yeah, okay. I can see the appeal. Pretty happy to ink this here. Probably just going to be dragon firing this queen. Get it off the table. Get our quest on. Yeah, I guess that's kind of worth considering, right? Basically, you're gaining the Tinkerbell package, grab your swords, in exchange for, like, Maui, Maleficent, Be Prepared. But you get to play a very similar deck otherwise. The Ursulas are quite good. We aren't doing a great job at clearing that right now. Okay, let's take a draw, see where we're at. Pretty happy to ink this, actually. Take a draw off this Maleficent.
Disney adults are the real heroes.
I assume we are... Yeah, we're okay. So we're both on the bigger deck, which makes sense. Quest with this, leave the Rafiki untapped. It's nice to not have to worry about Be Prepared, but in fairness, we are probably going to get Grab Your Sword, id, a reasonable amount. Tinkin to Grab Your Sword, maybe? Kills the Pongo too. Yeah, it's pretty good. Fruity. Inking a tinking. I wonder if they're playing a copies of A Whole New World. I feel like they probably shouldn't be. Same with Beast Mirror, really. Maybe there's an argument for getting those. And I'm going to hold this Mickey if I can, because I feel like we might get to the point where we need to actually loop some brooms. For now, I'm just going to blow Ursula's socks off. She dead, chat. She dead. I feel like we're still in a pretty good spot here. Opponent having a mirror and us not having a mirror is detrimental long term. But we are playing 3. Should be easy enough to find one soon. Picks the Ursula back up. Hey, look at that. I'm so ready for this to get beasted, by the way. This is curious. Maybe I'm not supposed to run this out this turn. Maybe I'm just supposed to Elsa. I don't really want to ink anything in my hand is the thing. Alternatively, we can sing this Be Prepared and get the mirror going. That seems pretty good. Let's do that. Sure. I'll run the Rafiki out while I have the resources. I think it's probably correct. Read it like a storybook, man. Had a feeling that one was being held in the hand. Alright. Maleficenting a beast does not feel great, but I guess they don't have Big Aladdin, their own Maleficents. They do have Ursulas, they do have Elsas. I think this is probably worth it here, it's just a little awkward. Our hand is kind of full of fatties, but this lets the Rafiki quest for free. Establishes, like, furthers our board. This is going to be hard now without our own mirror. Hopefully we can find another one soon. Opponent else is us, sure. Okay, this is always ink, and I think we are definitely in a spot where we want that Elsa gone as well. So let's just burn our dragons. Little scary here, to be honest. We're running out of cards, which is never where this deck wants to be. Would be nice if we had a magic mirror. You know. Queen from our opponent. I am pretty happy to smash that skull in. Again, not having to be worried about be prepared in this matchup feels like such a boon. So we will take care of a queen. Think we're probably always inking this Pongo. Questionable though. We're vibing. Well, it starts by drawing cards. I feel like that's mostly good for us. Swords are grabbed. One dragon down. Very expensive way of dealing with one dragon, though. We find another Pongo, sure. Questy. Probably just going to take the pass here. No need to extend any further. The Elsa here is pretty good. Pocket Watch is better. Very nice. Okay. We do find a Dragonfire. Alright, I think that's acceptable. Off you go. Opponent trying to hold the fort. We managed to get there without a mirror, because that'll be quite impressive. Well, we did have a mirror for a turn, but without a mirror long term. We do get our dragon smashed. They're not out of it yet. Do you have something to rush into my Rafiki? Yeah, that counts. Seems good. Alright, Pongo. It's all on you. The little doggo that could. Are we playing Mickey here? Mickey beats single removal spell. So I think so. Close one. They're scrapping back at us. They are doing their best to hold on. Just got to keep asking questions. Very much expected this mirror activation. Makes a lot of sense. Looking for the answers. Are you getting pongoed? I think you're getting pongoed. Oh, buddy. Alright. Let's see if we can play one more game to squeak ourselves into gold on this account. Would be nice. Positively pongoed. If you are hanging out, by the way, I'd appreciate you dropping a like on the stream if you haven't done so already. Would be very appreciated. Very much a brand new account over here, so we gotta work on growing things slowly. I'll keep the Maui here, but every like does help. I think this is our same opponent as last time, if I recognize the username. So I think we're likely to be in another grind fest against Amethyst Steel. Yep, looks like it to me. But hopefully you've been enjoying the show tonight. Nice relaxing stream. A little bit of grinding as we learn a thing or two. Do we care about challenging Captain Hook? Not particularly. Am I running out this mirror aggressively? Yeah, probably. If there is a beast on the other side, we've always got to get through it, and I think there's a good chance we draw a card on 4 currently. Opponent will quest. Ah! Either different player and I've misremembered the username, or different deck. Much happier to see Amber Steel. Matchup's definitely still losable, but still happier to see it. Are we playing this Archimedes then? Probably not. Slow and steady over here. Opponent gets their quest on. Happy to thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to getting the wheel spinning on everything else as well. I gotta be careful. I don't want to get myself back to where I was, but I've missed making content, and I'm very much looking forward to getting Snap spinning, getting Fab spinning, getting Lorcana properly spinning, and just being able to make more communities. I think that's kind of the real end game goal, is I just want to make more communities for people while I'm busy setting up another community. Jafar, hello. Setting up another community, so here's hoping we managed to do exactly that. But I'm glad you're enjoying it, bud. That is always reassuring. It's always very scary doing it from the start all over again. It's very daunting. It was a lot easier when you were the face of a channel with 20,000 subscribers. It helped. But we'll do the work. We'll do the work. Opponent with the aerial, sure thing. Gonna go dig in for an impactful song or two. Does not find one. Okay. Kind of want to draw cards here. Think I'm more likely to play the Maui currently. Am I questing? It's a 5/5? Thing's kind of huge. Yeah, okay. Maybe I regret this, but I think it's fine. Jafar not often getting run out in this deck, but when it does, it's a bit of a stickler sometimes. It's got a really big butt on it, and it quests quite well as well. In these more like mid-rangey matchups, I like having the inkable 4s that you can just run out as roadblocks that can challenge things well. I think both Pongo's a bit more of a concession to the evasive decks, but I think Jafar especially is really good at just providing a roadblock, not dying to smash, contesting Cuzco's, that kind of stuff. There is the beast. Opponent is going to take the mirror out on curve. We were definitely a little scared of that. Was definitely the reason to consider not running it out on turn 2, but we did get a card out of it. Opponent is going to go for the double trade here. We're cashing in the Tink too, so I'm very happy if that's where we are. If you want to let me kill the Aerial instead, I'm fine with that as well. Deal. I accept. So we have to consider what we want to do here. Got a few options. We could just run in the Maui, keep the Jafar around. That actually seems pretty appealing all around. That said, okay, this might have been bad actually, because this does currently die to Big Tink murdering my Maui. That might have been bad. Possible we were just supposed to get the Maleficent on here. Alright, I've committed to it now, but I think I regret that. And for that reason, I'm actually going to quest with this. I think questing with this is now better, because my opponent didn't want to trade into it last turn. If they wanted to, they could have, so they clearly don't want to. Which means there is almost certainly a Big Tink in my future, and if there's a Big Tink in my future, I'd rather get my 2 lore. But I think there's a very good chance there's a Big Tink in my future, and that's probably why I shouldn't have Maui'd, and I should have just cashed in the Jafar on the Aerial, and then drawn some cards with Maleficent. Worth considering, worth thinking about. But I think their reluctance to trade the Tink into Jafar last turn suggests there is probably a giant fairy in their hand. Inksty, you have forgotten me. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. You have forgotten me is very good against us. Happy to see one of those going away. There is the Big Tink. Again, not at all surprised by this. Very much what we accidentally signed ourselves up for. Drawing an Aladdin. Okay. We have some choices here. I think the correct choice in this grind fest. I don't have a mirror currently, but I think I am the one with double Elsa, so I think I'm supposed to clear and ink the Maleficent. Maybe ink the Aladdin first, actually. I think I would rather clear the Tink. Definitely worth thinking about. But I think this is probably more problematic in the future for like Maleficents and stuff. I think I am going to ink the Aladdin first, because I think if our draw step is like another Maleficent or a Friends on the other side, I would rather have this in my hand. Oh, I feel that one in my spine. Alright, well. You have forgotten me showing you why it's good in this matchup. I need some card advantage, please. That doesn't really count. I'm fine inking this. The question... So we definitely ink the Maleficent to play around another copy of You Have Forgotten Me. The question is if we run this out. And honestly, I think we do. It's a bit depressing. But this is worth, like, shutting down 2 lore and contesting. I think it's fine. But we need some friends on the other side. We need a magic mirror. We need some way of picking up cards here. Moana's an interesting one. I haven't seen this very much. That's a pretty good draw. Alright. Smashy, smashy. Just start training haymakers. I'm very glad that we played around that extra You Have Forgotten Me. Alternatively, sometimes you can just draw big idiots and not draw card advantage. 7-10, here's an Aladdin. Off you go. Those were some pretty good back-to-back top decks. I cannot deny that. The Moana's an interesting inclusion. You got a Rapunzel. Please don't have a Rapunzel. Please, God, don't have a Rapunzel. That's bad. That's mildly problematic. At least the Aladdin kills the Moana, I guess. Running out of Beast here is good for me. Jeez, these top decks have been some super hot fire. We are running exceptionally pure on the top deck. And sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you just need to draw better than the other person. Skill is a non-factor. Just be lucky. Tinkerbell is pretty good here. But I think it should be quite hard for us to lose from this spot. That's an interesting trade. Do we have a way of removing the Elsa? 4 damage? How are we doing 4? Oh, I don't think we are doing 4. I think our opponent's just conceding in style. Nice. Into gold we go. There you are. That's pretty sweet. Deck feels kind of great. I'm going to reboot Pixelborn real quick to update the record, because it's a bit of a stickler for not updating when you're still in client. So let's do that. And we'll see how we've done on the day, because I'm curious. And I think we've lost... I know we've lost like 2 games, but we might have lost a 3rd. I don't remember. So we are 11-5 with this version since we updated. But we were 3-2 going into the day. So we are... So we lost 3 today. Well, so 8-3? 8-3. Interesting. So I think I'm going to make a small adjustment. Because I think I'm probably making a small adjustment to the list for the weekend. As it is. I have been trying this Elsa, and I think it's kind of bad. I would rather just have another Aladdin. And I think I want to play 66 to have the second shield. Okay, I'm going to play 1 with this, and we'll see how we feel after 1 more. But slowly grinding our way up. This rank ladder is painful, by the way. There's no quick progression on Pixelborn. You gotta earn it, which is pretty good actually, even for a casual client. It's kind of nice. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Alright, we are good to go. Again, looking to mulligan aggressively towards anti-aggro tools. No worries, Danny. Take care of yourself. Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you for checking out the content, bud. It really does mean a lot. I'm going to keep the Maui and nothing else here. Have a lovely day. Hopefully your day isn't too hard. Thank you for hanging out while you had the chance. Someone with a nice shiny logo next to their name, huh? Big old patron over there. See if they're good at this game, huh? Well, we're always inking one of these Mauis, because we have 3 of them. Doesn't really matter what the matchup is. Okay, we are indeed aggressively slanted, so don't mind inking a broom if that's the case. Do I want to just run this broom out? I kind of do, right, in case my opponent plays Simba. Sure, so let's ink the Mickey. Run the broom out as a 2-2. And when my opponent plays Simba, I get to Rafiki the Simba and kill the Lilo. A tale as old as time at this point. So I do want to run this out. Inks John Silver. Go on, play the Simba. Go on. It's like a masterpiece. A storybook in progress. I will be inking this Queen. Slamming da Rafiki. Punching the Simba. Punching the Lilo. And we are very happy with how this game began. It's mostly why Rafiki is just so good, and I'm so happy to play 4. I feel like all the Simba matchups, it's just your best card. It's so strong. Another Simba, sure. Another okay, so the Stitch is a little scary because Rockstar is a real consideration, but we do have a Dragon's Fire in the near future. I think I'm always going to want to ink this Pongo over playing it. And am I ever questing? I don't think so. I want to be able to clear this Simba. So if my opponent shifts Rockstar here, we're always Dragon Firing it down. Just got to make sure it doesn't stick. Tinkerbell. Okay. That makes me wish I hadn't inked the Pongo, but you can't win them all, I guess. So this happens. The question is if we bother to Maui something here. I think we probably do, because it keeps the Rafiki alive. And we're always trading the broom for the Stitch, keep the Rockstar out of range. And we'll just quest with the Rafiki, because we can't challenge the Tink. Cusco would be a little scary here, potentially. Has the Hades. What are we pulling back? Grabs a Simba. Sure. That's fine. Grabs ink, basically. We will also be inking, I think. This is a really interesting spot because this Tinkerbell is going to be a bit of an issue if we don't shoot it down. I think I have to keep the situation in check. This does make us a little softer to specifically Rockstar Stitch, but I don't really think I can leave the Tinkerbell unchecked. And I'm not even sure these Emerald Amber decks are Rockstar decks very often. I feel like they're probably more likely to be Carefree Surfer decks, possibly both. The Rafiki is interesting. I think it's actually pretty good here, because it lets me... I'm happy to trade this Rafiki here, instead of questing, and keep the Maui alive. But we're looking for a mirror pretty badly here. Friends on the other side, Maleficent, ways to generate cards, because at the minute we are fresh out of stuff. Mad Hatter, that's pretty good here. Have to just throw the bullet in, don't we? I don't really think we have much a choice. Got to get this Hatter off the table as things stand. Might as well do it now. Opponent will always draw a card, but when we don't have any card advantage sitting around, I think we're just better off preventing them from questing for 3. Leaving our Maui alive. Again, really looking for a mirror, friends on the other side. Those are kind of the big draws here. More Elsas work. Ursula would be solid. There's a lot of good draws, but we kind of need to find one of them. Cusco is a little scary. Maleficent. I might hold this, to be honest. So this is interesting. I think we take care of Jasper with the Elsa, so the Maui can trade for the Cusco. Means we don't get 3 lore we could have, but I think preserving the way of trading for the Cusco is probably correct. Chooses to challenge the Rafiki. Oh, sure. Alright, that checks out. That's a really good Rapunzel. Was very much a question of who got to card advantage first, and it was my opponent currently. Finds another Cusco. We find a Rafiki. Ah, well, this is always happening. And then I think I would rather not quest the Rafiki here. I'm probably not running it out either. Interesting game. Feels like we're slightly behind, but definitely not out of it. The Rapunzel was pretty good. I think if there's ways we could have sequenced this any better. I'm not entirely sure there was, to be honest. Just a bit of an awkward combination of cards. But inking another Tink here actually feels pretty good for me. Hades picking up a Lilo. That's curious. Okay, the Cauldron's not a bad one here. Oh. That's quite the choice. I think I'm taking the Maleficent. And I'm just gonna trade Rafiki's into the Rapunzel. So I think if I'm correct, we know about another Cusco, which is a bit concerning. Trading back into the Rafiki's fine by me. There is that other Cusco. Okay, I need to think here. Can I afford to wait on the Maleficent? Well, wait on the big Maleficent, I should say. I'm going to say yes, I can. This is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Scary stuff. Oh, the genie. Oh, no. Oh. The genie on the job is so good there. We're still alive. No, we're dead, right? We can't challenge this or can't take the genie off the table. Ah. Well, we can take the genie. We can't take both the threats off the table. Opponent played this very well. Fair play to them. Almost stabilized here. This was to be fair to the opponent as well. Huge big ups for picking up the Lilo on the Hades, because I think if you don't race me. Really, really heads up play by them. Needed to be prepared. Didn't find one. Didn't find any card advantage for far too long. Sweet game. Sweet game all around. Well played by the opponent. Okay, I think I'm going to take the time to wrap things up there, folks. It's been about 3 hours of games today, which has been really fun. If you have been enjoying watching the stream, then thank you, first of all. It's very cool to have people popping by a new channel. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the channel for more Lorcana content. I'd love to see you around in the future for more live streams and dedicated videos. But until then, I have been Howling Minds. You've been amazing. I'll see you again very soon. Next TCG player article should be up next week as well, so keep your eyes open for that one. I'll see you then. Have a good one.